Welcome to the party, pal. Your friendly neighborhood master of chaos here. You look wonderful. I can see through the TV or the phone or whatever you're holding. I can see you and you look wonderful. Today, it is biocurious time. I've got some titles to share with you. My thoughts and feelings on these. We've got 3 new releases from Arrow and 2 fairly new releases from Criterion. The sale is still going on. The Barnes & Noble's 50% off Criterion sale, so I may have some things to sway your purchasing power. Join me, won't you?
Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, motherfucker.
So the whole point of biocurious is to bring together a whole bunch of disparate titles and review them all at once. Maybe they don't necessarily deserve their own breakout Master Chaos Theater. Maybe I don't necessarily want to focus on just one label. So I will lump them together, and that's what Bicurious is all about. I've got 5 movies here, all incredibly different. Incredibly different and unique and weird and off-putting in their own ways. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to blind pick the first one, I should say, because I don't want to go in any particular order. So whatever happens, Captains. La 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 la. We're going to go with, Criterion to kick us off. This is The Girl Can't Help It, starring the immaculate Jane Mansfield. The Girl Can't Help It runs 1 hour and 37 minutes. Presented in CinemaScope and in gorgeous color by Deluxe, Frank Tashlin's musical is a delight on the eyes. Here we get the story of a down-and-out talent agent who's handed a golden goose in the form of a gangster's new gal, played by the lovely Jane Mansfield. The talent agent is tasked with making her a star, and he's got his work cut out for him. At times, this movie almost seems like an excuse to show off Jane Mansfield in gorgeous dresses and present some great performances from some genuine musicians of the time, like Little Richard, Fats Domino, The Platters, and more. Basically, if you like music from the 50s, you're gonna love this movie. Jane Mansfield is great, obviously easy on the eyes, and she's almost a dead ringer from Marilyn Monroe, which I'm sure helped her career. But Jane was certainly a little more top-heavy than Miss Monroe was. I mean, sometimes her bra is so distracting that I couldn't look at anything else on the screen, no matter how hard I tried. Tom Ewell is great here as the talent agent, and they make a fantastic pair. The entire cast is great, really, and it adds to the footloose and fancy-free feel of the movie. And sometimes you just want to have a fun time, and this movie delivers it. Overall, it's a great-looking film with its heart in the right place. It's not so much concerned with how show business works, but how a star is made, and I found that quite fascinating. This movie is jam-packed with musical numbers, and normally I don't like that and consider it padding, but here it was musical atmosphere, while at the same time being a crucial part of the world that our characters existed. To top it off, the script is fantastic, with satisfying setups and payoffs, and a Hollywood ending that'll put a smile on your face. This is not your typical romantic comedy, and that's only one of the reasons why this one's worth your time. This is a sumptuous-looking movie with a gorgeous visual flair, and it'll linger in my memory for years to come. In terms of special features, prepare yourselves. You get an audio commentary featuring scholar Toby Miller, a new video essay by film critic David Cairns, an interview with filmmaker John Waters, who is a huge fan of this movie. Then you get a conversation between WFMU DJs Dave the Spaz Abramson and Gaylord Fields about the music in the film, as well as an interview with Eve Golden, the author of Jane Mansfield, The Girl Couldn't Help It. You also get interviews with Jane Mansfield and Little Richard, and an episode of Karina Longworth's podcast, You Must Remember This About Mansfield. Plus, an essay by critic Rachel Syme, and excerpts from director Frank Tashlin's 1952 book, How to Create Cartoons, with a new introduction by Ethan DeSeffi, author of Tashlin-esque, the Hollywood comedies of Frank Tashlin. This is my first Tashlin movie, and I loved it. I want to watch more. I was sort of on the fence about picking this up because I didn't know how much of a musical this would be. Was this going to be a jukebox thing where somebody would walk into a room, then watch a performance, and then walk out of the room, and there wouldn't be much of a plot? But it's got it all. It's got the jukebox aspect, it's got a plot, and it's got a lovely leading lady, which doesn't hurt. Let me show you the packaging real quick because this is really interesting stuff. First, we'll go with this. You get This is the like mini booklet fold out all about the lovely Jane Man. I mean, it's long. The lovely. Look at this thing. Oh God, all this. Then you get this. This is very interesting. I wasn't sure what the hell this was, and then I did a little research. Frank Tashlin was a cartoon guy. I did not know that. He was a cartoonist, and he also did romantic musicals. So this is a sort of excerpt of his. I don't know if I can open this thing. Sort of like cartooning style and how to create cartoons as it's spoken about here, and then it's a little thing by Ethan DeSeffi. 5 stars. The Girl Can't Help It. I loved it. 5 stars for me. This is a great movie. Highly recommend it. If you like classic Hollywood movies, you don't even have to like musicals, really. If you like classic Hollywood movies, you're gonna dig it. So I do highly recommend it. What am I doing right now? I'm taking the slips off of these. Why? Because 3 movies have slips, and 2 of them don't. And the 2 are the Criterion, and the rest are the Arrow. So if I'm gonna blind pick it, I can tell which is which just by feel. So now it's more of a mystery. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Look at all the monkeys pee. Criterion again. All right. Let's do it. I dropped one, but whatever. Criterion. Oh, man. Let's talk tragic love stories with the really, really sumptuous-looking film Rouge. Rouge runs 1 hour and 37 minutes. Produced by Jackie Chan and directed by Stanley Kwan, Rouge is a sweet and gentle love story that ends up also being a time-bending ghost story. Let me explain. The film takes place at 2 different times, the 30s and the 80s. In the 30s, we meet a pair of star-crossed lovers. One, a rich young merchant, and the other is a famous courtesan, which is polite speak for prostitute. In the 80s timeline, we meet a pair of reporters who come across our female lead, Fleur, now a ghost. It seems she and her beloved committed suicide in the 30s, and she has returned to reunite with him because she couldn't find him in hell. Now, don't get your hopes up. This isn't really a scary movie. It's very much a gooey love story. You can think of this as a tragic romantic comedy of sorts without the comedy. What I mean by that is this could easily have been the formula for a goofy romantic comedy with a ghost returning to look for a long-lost love. But the film takes that plot and approaches it from a more dour and gentle angle. I wouldn't say this is a fun movie, but it is a lovely film to look at and to sit with. Not a happy tale by any means, but very unique in the pantheon of love stories and ghost stories. It's certainly not your typical version of those subgenres. This is some powerful, poetic cinema, even though I feel the ending is a little weak. This feels like a Wong Kar-wai film, so if you like movies of that ilk, you'll enjoy the hell out of this one. Special features-wise, you get a new conversation between Kwan and filmmaker Sasha Chuk. Yang Yin, Gender in Chinese Cinema, a 1997 documentary by Kwan exploring the representation of queerness and LGBT identity in Chinese film. You get Still Love You After All These, a 1997 memoir film by Kwan about his Hong Kong identity, as well as an essay by film programmer and critic Dennis Lim. Anita Mui and Leslie Chung are fantastic in this film. It's really well done. As a matter of fact, it's almost magical in its sadness. It's a very melancholic movie, and it really makes you think about what is the power of love and the staying power of love and all that stuff. And a lot of it doesn't make any sense, but when you're dealing with magical realism, you can get away with quite a bit. 4 stars. 4 stars for Rouge. I really liked these new blind buys from Criterion. I've never been disappointed. Of course, I do a little research, but maybe disappointed once or twice, but rarely, I'll say, disappointed by Criterion blind buys. And I'm very happy to say that I loved my 2 blind buys, and I think you will too. If you like Chinese cinema, if you like Wong Kar-wai, specifically Wong Kar-wai, boom, right here. I mean, this is almost like, if they had told me this was a Wong Kar-wai movie, I would 100% believe it. There's a lot less green in it, but I would believe it. Okay, moving on. Boom, boom, boom. What are we going to pick? Don't worry, I'll do it off camera so I can't see what is what. One of these I loved, and the other 2 I was not much of a fan of. Where do we start, baby fart? We're going to start with this one. Okay, well, what a shock. Okay, let's start here. Hellhigh. This is an Arrow horror title. I've not been a fan of their horror titles for the past year and a half, really, they've been sort of disappointing. Does Hellhigh continue the trend, or does it bucket in the face? Let's find out. Hellhigh runs 1 hour and 23 minutes. The Blu-ray comes with an introduction by Joe Bob Briggs, who not only vouches for the movie's goodness, but gave it 4 stars after rolling out his drive-in totals. So how much more awesome can it get? This movie had already been placed on a super high bar for me. The movie kicks off with a fantastic origin story that not only offers up some boobs, but an incredibly unique and gory murder sequence. But let me get this out of the way first. This is not a slasher movie. Well, let me clarify that. It is a slasher movie, but only in the last 18 minutes of its runtime. That's right. It takes the whole movie to get to the slasher portion of our story. That being said, the movie we do get is still pretty fun and engaging on another level. The movie is really about 4 asshole high school kids who hate their biology teacher and decide to play a prank on her. Of course, they go too far and the prank becomes deadly, leading to unsavory circumstances for everyone involved. It's definitely more of a high school prankster bully revenge type movie than your traditional slasher, but with ample nudity and some great gore, the film never really lets you down. As a matter of fact, there are more than a few shocking moments, some that even made me drop my jaw. This is essentially a slow burn movie with some really great surprises along the way, but unlike something like Death Screams where everything is left to the finale, this movie offers consistent entertainment even if the stuff we came for really only happens in the last 18 minutes. So while this isn't the great long-lost slasher movie we all hoped it might be, this one turns out to be a little more nuanced and interesting and unpredictable in all the right places. I'm not saying you won't be disappointed with it, especially if you were hoping for a slasher movie, but compared to recent releases from Arrow that were supposed to be slasher movies, this one at least offers up a compelling story, engaging characters, and a pretty solid script. I've been called overly critical, but I'm easy. Make me care. Make me give a shit. I will like anything. I can rattle off the strangest movies you've never heard of that I enjoy because they've made me give a shit. And I'm happy to report, Hellhigh made me give a shit. I even cared about the bullies. What the fuck? What magic is this? Great storytelling. And unfortunately, Joe Bob says that no one in the film really went on to anything else, and one of the main characters in this unfortunately passed away from AIDS not too long after. There is some tragic history to the film, but it is really dang good. And I think you're going to enjoy it. 4 stars. Hellhigh, man. I thought it was phenomenal. And I'm very, very happy to report that it's a good dang movie. Now, package-wise, you do get a booklet with it, which is right there. It is an essay by Michael Gingold, the one and only Michael Gingold, who I think it's also one of the special features. And you get a reversible slip. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, neat. It's a little deceptive artwork, but that's fine. You do get reversible artwork as well, which is the old poster, which is not as interesting as the new one. And then, of course, the slip, which I don't believe is sold out. I don't know how it works with the new Arrow slips, but this is really beautiful stuff. Look at that. I love it. I love that they're doing that. They're putting artwork on the back like Vinegar does. They're not just like, oh, here's the special features. I do like that. It makes the slip special. It makes it a little more of a worthwhile addition, which I just fucking dropped. Anyway, good movie. Special features wise, you get a ton of commentary tracks. You get a brand new one from the director and the cinematographer, an archival one with just the director, and you get one with Joe Bob Briggs. Then you get a ton of interviews with the cast and crew, including the director, the cinematographer, a couple of the actors, the composers, and a tour of the filming locations by Michael Gingold, as well as archival video interviews with the director and the co-writer, and some lovely deleted scenes. 2 more, baby hobo. Let's see what we're going to pick. I've got a lot. So much to say about these 2 movies. Oh my god. Alright, Arrow dropping some indie titles that nobody wants to watch. Are they good? Look at my shoes. We're going to do Sacred Spirit. Okie dokie. Sacred Spirit, a film by Chema Garcia Ibarria. Wait till I tell you what this one's about, and don't worry, no spoilers. The Sacred Spirit runs 1 hour and 37 minutes. This Spanish film is a really weird one. It's a slow burn family drama about a missing little girl and the single mother who is looking for her with the help of her brother who belongs to a UFO cult. Honestly, it's pretentious, boring garbage, and a complete waste of your time. The biggest problem with the movie is the glacial pace and too much time spent on new age mumbo-jumbo that doesn't serve the plot at all. There doesn't really seem to be a plot whatsoever, to be honest, as the characters just seem to go about their day at random. Yes, there's a missing girl, but there's no real story emphasis on her search. It's one of those movies that doesn't explain a whole hell of a lot, and that's what makes us feel like outsiders peeking in the window or catching episode 6 of a TV show. I feel like this thing has a clear idea of what it is, but the fact that it wastes so much of our time works against it. I'm not kidding when I tell you that there is a 10-minute sequence where a man sits down and gets up and goes to do the dishes, and then he comes back and sits in the same chair again. What the hell is that about? Now, I know there's things happening in that period of time which I won't mention here, but the fact that it's so drawn out honestly sucks out any of the tension or suspense or nuance, in my opinion. To top it off, the film has a very distasteful and unsatisfying ending. Once you realize what was really going on, it's liable to make a handful of you throw up. It's pretty awful, and combined with the fact that the movie is the opposite of entertainment, and you get a pretty dull turd on your hands. Special features are packed here. You get an exclusive bonus disc containing a selection of award-winning short films by the director, as well as a fully illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writings on the film. I mean, it's a new movie, but apparently there's new writings on it. Disc 1 features a visual essay about the use of surveillance and Egyptology in the Sacred Spirit by Alexandra Heller Nicholas, which was, of course, setting off alarm bells for me. A visual essay examining conspiracy, class, and capitalism in the film, as well as an interview with the writer-director and behind the scenes 4 short featurettes shot during the production of the film. Disc 2, as mentioned, includes the short films of Chema Garcia Ibarria, which is only limited to this limited edition exclusive release. You get Attack of the Robots and something called Protoparticles and a whole bunch of other things. They're all fairly short and apparently all award-winning. I don't know what Arrow was thinking releasing this movie because, first of all, fucking boring. And you're hoping it's going to go somewhere, and then when it goes there, it's a wet fart of an ending that leaves you hanging, but then it's going to reveal, you're like, oh wait, what the fuck? That's what was happening? Fuck this movie. I was not a fan. 1 star. 1 star Sacred Spirit. Boring and ugly concept. Ugh. Disgusting. I did not like this movie at all. But look what I found in here. You know, they include this little thing. Hey, look at whatever this thing. There's a poster, or a little whatever, postcard that says Edgar Allan Poe Horror. Box set announcement, perhaps? Edgar Allan Poe doesn't have a movie called Horror, so I'm banking on a Edgar Allan Poe 4K box set. I don't know what this could be. You let me know. That surprised me. Anyway, you get a ton of stuff in here, in case you're interested in buying it. You get a booklet, and it has 2 essays, as mentioned. Typical little booklet, and in case you're curious, and you want to put this on your wall, I fucking won't, but you get a poster, Sacred Spirit, and Sacred Spirit. So, a poster, I mean, they went all out for this movie. What the fuck? Maybe I'm just not seeing what they're seeing in it, but I just, no. Last, and I wouldn't necessarily say least, is the film The Righteous, which has 2 connections to the film Ready or Not. It stars 2 of the actors from Ready or Not, and is directed by one of them. What is the movie about, though? Is it worth your time? It's not. But let's talk about the plot. The Righteous runs 1 hour and 35 minutes. This sumptuous black and white film festival darling will not be for everyone, and honestly, it wasn't for me. It feels more like a play than a feature film, and I chalk that up to the fact that the movie's overly talky, to the point that it's nearly wall-to-wall dialogue, like a stage play. The film is well-directed and written by Mark O'Brien, who plays the lead here, but despite the wonderful black and white cinematography and the great performances, the plot at the heart of this movie is just so nonsensical and needlessly complicated and convoluted. To make matters worse, the ending is complete fucking bullshit and leaves you hanging in the worst way. After all that talking, we don't even get a satisfying payoff. And to me, that's the most egregious thing the movie does. This is a film that deals with doubt in yourself, doubt in your faith, and the burdens of past mistakes. So there is a lot of stuff happening below the surface. But the problem is, there's nothing really happening above the surface. And it just feels like a chore to get through. Special features include a brand new commentary with writer-director Mark O'Brien and the editor Kay Spencer Jones. Then you get casting crew interviews with Mark O'Brien, Kay Spencer Jones, producer Mark O'Neill, and actors Henry Czerny, who will be in Scream 6, by the way, Mimi Kuzik, and Kate Corbett, as well as the cinematographer and the production designer. Then you get a roundtable discussion with Mark O'Brien and the guys of Radio Silence, which is kind of interesting. So Scream New Generation fans might find that appealing. You get a stage presentation and Q&A with Mark O'Brien and Henry Czerny at the world premiere. Then you get a live stream Q&A with Mark O'Brien, original soundtrack. I didn't notice that. I guess you do get a soundtrack with it. And image gallery accompanied by the film's original score and a reversible sleeve. I'm going to show you the packaging. There actually is no soundtrack with it, so I'm guessing it's just a special feature on it where you can listen to it on your Blu-ray player if you wish. You get a lovely booklet here with the typical writings. You get an essay by Sean Hogan. Look, the movie looks fantastic. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous looking movie. It just felt empty to me. And I'm all for metaphor. I love a good metaphor movie, but you have to give me something entertaining along the way, and the movie just didn't entertain me. I was so confused the whole time that I was so busy being confused that I couldn't embrace the movie the way it wanted me to. So, no, not for me. It's another bummer in the brand new titles released by Arrow. Kind of wish they would stop doing these, to be honest, but I like it for filmmakers so they can get their movies out, but shit, man. I'm out of step with these. These don't work for me. 2 stars. 2 stars for Righteous. It could have been great. Well, it could have been okay, but then the ending fizzles out and it leaves you with nothing. So 2 stars for Righteous, in my opinion. Okay, Bugaboo, that'll do it for Biocurious. I hope you've enjoyed my rundown of these titles. You know, slam dunks for Criterion for these titles. Rouge and The Girl Can't Help It. Slam dunks. And these, well, you know, at least Hellhigh is good. That's good.